What if clothing wasn't essential? How would life change? Humanity is a vast and varied tapestry. Culture, tradition, ways of life. Across the globe, people have developed unique solutions to the challenges of their environments and created rich systems of meaning to understand their world. This essay invites you to explore one aspect of this incredible diversity: the cultures where, for long periods of history, clothing was not a central part of daily life. We will approach this topic with a calm and open mind, aiming not to judge, but to understand. Our goal is to see people as they are, living thoughtful and purposeful lives within their own specific contexts and histories. To understand why some cultures did not wear clothing, we must travel back in time and across the globe. The story of humanity is often told through the lens of invention, but the absence of clothing in certain societies is not a sign of being less developed. Instead, it's a testament to a different kind of adaptation, a different relationship with the world. For many thousands of years, countless small-scale societies thrived in the world's warmer regions. In the vast rainforests and grasslands of South America, numerous indigenous groups lived for generations without the need for full-body coverings. The same was true across the diverse climates of Africa and in the sun-drenched landscapes of Australia, as well as the remote and scattered islands of the Pacific. These groups were often hunter-gatherers or small-scale farmers living in close harmony with their environments. Their way of life was deeply intertwined with the natural cycles of their homelands, fostering a profound connection to the land that sustained them. Their histories were not written in books, but came through rich oral traditions, through intricate art, and through deep ecological knowledge handed down by elders. The body itself often served as a canvas for identity and status. A key factor is geography. Many of these communities sit in the equatorial belt, where the climate stayed consistently warm or hot year-round. In this context, insulation from cold simply wasn't a daily concern. By contrast, early humans migrating into colder regions were forced to develop clothing as a critical tool for survival against the harsh elements. Elsewhere, people prioritized tools, shelter, and social rituals over complex garments. For these cultures, the human body was not something to be hidden, but was simply the natural state of being, an elegant adaptation that endured for centuries. The single most powerful factor influencing the use of clothing is the environment. Before the advent of modern textiles and climate control, survival depended on a deep, practical understanding of one's surroundings. This fundamental principle of human adaptation shaped cultures in profound ways. In hot, humid climates, living without extensive clothing wasn't a matter of choice, but a practical solution that offered both comfort and health. The human body is remarkably adept at regulating its own temperature, a process that heavy fabrics can disrupt. Layers of clothing can trap heat and sweat against the skin. This moisture creates a breeding ground for bacteria, leading to overheating, painful skin irritation, and persistent fungal infections. The body's natural cooling system, evaporation, works best when skin is exposed directly to the air. Daily life involves strenuous activity. Hunting, gathering food, and tending to gardens all require intense physical effort. In these conditions, unrestricted airflow isn't just a comfort, it's a necessity for endurance. Instead of covering the body, people developed other ingenious ways to cope with the sun and heat. Wide-brimmed leaf hats provided portable shade, and communities learned to work during cooler parts of the day. Their architecture was designed to invite cooling breezes, with open walls and raised floors that allowed air to circulate freely. With less need for complex textiles, precious time and materials were invested in other essentials: strong baskets for carrying goods, durable fishing nets for sustenance, and woven mats for sleeping. Wood became tools, bowls, and canoes, vital technologies for securing food, creating shelter, and ensuring mobility. An intimate knowledge of natural rhythms, the patterns of weather, the behavior of insects, the timing of seasons, supported a harmonious and sustainable way of living. By minimizing clothing, people engaged their world directly, their actions guided by deep ancestral knowledge and the wisdom of the body. This was not a lack of technology, but a different, highly refined form of it. Beyond climate, many cultures saw the body not as something to be hidden, but as a canvas for identity and society. Using clay, charcoal, and crushed minerals, people painted intricate designs with layered meanings. Patterns could indicate clan, ceremony, social status, or achievements. Paintings were temporary. Appearance could shift with role and occasion. Tattoos and scarification often marked rites of passage, visual resumes of a life lived. New symbols commemorated marriage, children, and personal accomplishments. These marks, worn with pride, signaled identity and belonging. Jewelry, shells, seeds, feathers, bones carried protective power and authority. To outsiders, one might seem unclothed. Within the culture, they were fully dressed in symbols. The body was a living storybook. When very different customs meet, misunderstandings arise. For centuries, outsiders imposed their own biases, fueling harmful myths, like equating nudity with being primitive. Textiles do not measure intelligence, social complexity, or human worth. These societies held sophisticated knowledge, botany, medicine, and what to avoid. They navigated by stars and timed planting and harvests with precision. Another myth, public nudity is inherently sexual. Projecting that view is a cultural mistake. Everyday nudity was as unremarkable as hands or faces. Modesty existed in postures, gestures, and social rules. Correcting misconceptions begins by accepting our norms are not universal. The body was practical and expressive. To see less is to miss the richness and logic of their way of life. No culture exists in isolation forever. From the 15th century onward, traders, missionaries, and colonial officials brought goods and a powerful set of values. Missionaries linked clothing to spiritual salvation and civilization, often persuading or compelling adoption. Colonial governments criminalized public nudity, remaking societies by force of law. Trade introduced inexpensive cotton, sometimes adopted as decoration or status. Cash economies required new jobs and new dress codes. Responses varied. Some embraced change, others resisted. Many blended cloth with body paint, tattoos, and jewelry. The legacy of contact remains complex, shaping lives today. Through integration and resolve, communities charted their own path forward. In our interconnected world, very few societies live entirely without clothing. Globalization, trade, media, and national laws set public expectations. Clothes in towns, markets, and schools. Yet traditional beliefs persist, visible in dynamic blends of old and new. People code switch, jeans for town, vibrantly painted skin and headdresses for rites and festivals. Communities record elders' stories, teach languages, and keep arts like body painting and tattooing alive. These practices are living expressions of identity, sources of pride amid ongoing challenges. Despite legacies of colonization and environmental threats, resilience endures through selective integration and heritage. Our journey across continents and through the annals of history, exploring diverse environments and belief systems, consistently reveals a simple yet profound truth. There is no single, correct way to be human. Instead, humanity expresses itself in a breathtaking mosaic of cultures, each a valid and complete response to the world. The customs that feel so natural to us, from the way we dress to the way we communicate, are not universal principles. They are local adaptations. The world shows a brilliant spectrum of human ingenuity, where every society has developed its own unique solutions for living. In many cultures, the absence of clothing is not a sign of lack, but a powerful form of presence. It is a tradition deeply rooted in a connection to nature, with the human body itself serving as a canvas for identity, status, and art. By consciously setting aside our own cultural judgments and instead embracing a genuine curiosity, we open ourselves to understanding. We begin to see the intricate logic, profound meaning, and undeniable beauty woven into other ways of life. The very concepts of comfort, modesty, and personal identity are not fixed. They are defined differently all around the world, shaped by climate, spirituality, and social structure. Societies without complex textiles were not simple. They were deeply knowledgeable, socially intricate, and possessed powerful artistic traditions that conveyed complex narratives and beliefs. Let respect guide all our encounters. This means we must listen first, seek to learn with an open mind, and actively avoid the trap of judging others by our own familiar standards. True wisdom begins not with knowing, but with the humility of admitting we don't know. It blossoms from there with the profound and transformative willingness to see the world through another's eyes.